Here.
Commissioner Reed,
Here.
Commissioner Shertliff,
Here.
Mayor Collins,
Here.
and for the record, Commissioner Dean is excused this evening.
Thank you. It's not here. Would you rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Welcome and thank you for participating in the City of Helena City Administrative Meeting. Oh, geez. You threw me off. Welcome and thank you for participating in the City of Helena City Commission meeting. We are pleased to be able to provide this alternative meeting format in the city's effort to broaden public participation. We welcome your public commentary during the meeting. Please read the following tips and guidelines for the app usage and your participation. 9/6/23 administrative minute were received, 9/11/23 commission meeting, and 9/20/23 admin meeting. Do you have any corrections, comments, commissioners? Minutes will stand as submitted. Presentation. Consider the confirmation approval of Officer Zach McMillan, Officer Tim Smith, and Officer Jacob Hamilton. Chief Petty, you have the floor.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission.
Good evening.
Thank you for having us here. So tonight, I have 3 officers that have successfully completed their 1-year probationary period with the Helena Police Department. At the end of the probationary period and under Montana state law, the appointment of the officers must be submitted to the City Commission. And if the appointment is approved by the City Commission, then the officer becomes a confirmed member of our police department. With this said, I'll be seeking a vote from the commission to confirm these officers tonight. And prior to having the commission vote on these officers' confirmation, and if I may provide a little background of each officer I have up here. Okay. So tonight with me, I have Officer Zach McMillan here, Officer Tim Smith. This is more roll call for me so that I know that they're all here. So that's good. And Officer Jacob Hamilton. So I'll start with Officer Zach McMillan. He was born and raised in Big Bear, California. Please don't hold that against him. After graduating from high school, he moved to San Marcos, California to attend college where he earned a bachelor's degree in business administration. While attending college, he met his wife, Erica. Officer McMillan and his wife have 2 daughters, Addison, who is 6, and Cameron, who is 3. Officer McMillan and his wife both grew up in a small town and knew a small town environment was where they wanted to raise their girls. McMillans visited Helena in the fall of 2021 and knew it was a perfect fit. The McMillans moved to Helena in January of 2022 and are excited to be part of the Helena community. Next, I have Officer Tim Smith. Officer Smith is a local. He's been in Helena and he has been in Helena his entire life. He went to Helena High and later attended Carroll College, received his Bachelor of Arts in International Relations. After graduating from Carroll, Officer Smith worked at the Helena Regional Airport for 2 years as a TSA officer, and this is where he met his fiancee, Rachel. After TSA, Officer Smith went on to work as a detention officer for the Sheriff's Office just before becoming an officer for the Helena Police Department. Officer Smith has always been passionate about pursuing a career in law enforcement and is grateful that Helena Police Department has given him the opportunity to continue to give back to the community that has made him into the person he is today. And my last officer here is Officer Jacob Hamilton. He comes to Helena by the way of Ohio. He spent his life in the Columbus area until he moved to Michigan for college. Officer Hamilton had planned on moving to Montana during college and was happy to be able to do so after graduation. During college, Officer Hamilton met his wife Julia and the pair got married 4 days prior to him starting at Helena PD. Officer Hamilton had long intended to pursue a career in law enforcement as he grew up hearing stories from his father, who was also a police officer. Officer Hamilton is thrilled to have the opportunity to serve the community he now calls home. So I'm up here to welcome them to the HPD family, as long as we have confirmation from the commission tonight. And before I seek a vote on the approval, you mind giving them a minute to introduce themselves and any guests they may have in?
Please.
Thank you. Zach, you want to step up?
As Chief Petty said, I'm Zach McMillan. First off, I want to say thank you, Mayor Collins, the commissioners, Chief Petty, and the police department for the opportunity to work for and serve the community of Helena. Over the last year, as he said, my family's been here and we're just proud to be members of the Helena community. And I'm excited to see where this career takes me. I'd like to introduce my wife, Erica, and my two children over here, Addison and Cameron, as he said. It's Addison's 6th birthday today, so
Oh,
she gets to celebrate it here with us tonight.
can we sing?
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear cousin. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Officer Tim Smith. Hopefully you have something to trump that.
That's tough. That's tough.
Good luck.
I'll try. Like Chief said, I'm Tim Smith, and I've been here in Helena my whole life, and I'd like to thank you, Mayor Collins, and the commission for giving me the opportunity to be before you here today. I'd also like to thank Chief Petty, the entire police department, for everyone who's believed in me and shown faith in me to pursue this career. My mom and dad, Vicky and Mark, and my fiance Rachel are in the back. I'd like to thank them too for always supporting me to pursue this career. And I'm very grateful to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
As Chief Petty said, I'm Jacob Hamilton. I don't have anyone else to thank, but everyone else who already got thanked. So thank you to Mayor Collins. Thank you to the commission. Obviously, thank you, Chief Petty. And thank you to my wife in the back, Julia. We lived in Helena for about 1.5 years now, and my wife and I absolutely love it, and just very pleased to be a part of this community and be able to live and work here. So thank you all.
Thank you.
With that said, I'll be seeking a confirmation for the 3 officers presented here tonight. Thank you.
Commissioners, any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I
Go
would
ahead.
just like to thank each of the officers for choosing Helena. It sounded like for one, it was a pretty easy choice, Helena being home. But, one of the things that we found in discussions this year, particularly with the flood of information that was given to us by Tim at Edico, was just simply filling the positions that we have funded and finding good people to fill those positions. So I really appreciate each of you in that choice. And, you've got a tough job ahead of you, and I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but thank you for being here for us. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You bet. Any other? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To the 3 officers, welcome aboard. Thank you very much, not only to you, but your families and your children. It's always a good occasion when we do something like this, to swear an oath, and it brings everybody together, brings kids and families. And I thank you and them for your service and dedication to our community. Thank you very much.
Commissioner Reed?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just to echo the comments of my fellow commissioners, thank you for serving. Welcome and congratulations.
And yes, on behalf of the commission, we want to welcome and thank you for taking that leap of faith to be in Helena and to serve our community. We know you can't do that without your families, so we also thank your families for being a part of this journey with you, because they're in it with you. They're in that ball. So whatever you do will affect them. So thank you, families, and welcome. At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I'd move to approve the confirmation of officers McMillan, Smith, and Hamilton.
Second,
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Logan,
Aye.
Commissioner Reed,
Aye.
Commissioner Shertliff,
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye.
The motion carries 4-0.
Thank you and welcome. You done? Okay, consider the confirmation of firefighter paramedic Travis Sick. Fire Chief Campbell, well, okay. Chief Campbell, Chambers, you have the floor.
All right. Mayor and Commission, thank you very much. Very similar to the last process with Chief Petty. I would like to present to you firefighter paramedic Travis Sick for your vote of confirmation today. Firefighter paramedic Sick has met the requirements of his probation as well as demonstrated his ability to work with others and serve the citizens of Helena. It's been a year-long process plus of training, integrating into our system, meeting new members, meeting the community. He's done well with all of that. So with that, we are very happy to have Travis as part of the team and wish him a long and healthy career and forward it on to you folks for your vote.
Okay. At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead,
I
Commissioner.
move to approve the confirmation of firefighter paramedic Travis Sick.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Logan,
Aye.
Commissioner Reed,
Aye.
Commissioner Shertliff,
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye.
The motion carries 4-0.
Okay, at this time, I'll administer the oath of office. Travis, yeah, would you just come up right here? Would you raise your right hand? I, Travis Sick, recognize my obligation as a firefighter for the city of Helena to protect and serve life and property of the public I serve. And I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Montana, and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office of firefighter for the city of Helena Fire Department, according to the best of my ability and understanding. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Okay. At this time, fire proclamation ceremony, Fire Prevention Week proclamation. Which one is this? Okay. You want to say a few words before we?
Absolutely.
Please
Mayor
go
and
ahead.
Commission, it's always take an opportunity to talk about Fire Prevention Week when we can. This year, as you'll be reading the proclamation, it is October 8th through the 14th. Cooking safety is the theme this year. During Fire Prevention Week, we at the Helena Fire Department typically host around 800 second graders that come through our fire station for education and another 150 students from other local groups and preschools as well. So it's a fairly busy time at the department on top of everything else we do. So we appreciate the ongoing and continued support of the commission in helping us fulfill this very important community educational event for us. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, I'll read the proclamation. City of Helena proclamation. whereas the City of Helena is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting our city. And whereas fire is a serious public safety concern, both locally and nationally. And homes are the location where people are at greatest risk from fire. And whereas home fire killed more than 2,800 people in the United States in 2021, according to the National Fire Protection Association. And fire departments in the United States responded to 338,000 home fires. And whereas cooking is the leading cause of home fires in the United States, and fire departments responded to more than 166,400 annually between 2016 and 2020. And whereas Helena residents should turn pot handles towards the back of the stove, always keep a lid nearby when cooking, keep a 3-foot kids-free zone around the stove, oven, and other things that could get hot. Watch what they heat and set a timer to remind them that they are cooking. And whereas residents have planned and practiced a home fire escape plan, are more prepared and will therefore be likely to survive a fire. And whereas working smoke alarms cut the risk of dying in reported home fire almost in half. And whereas Helena first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fire and home fire injuries through prevention and protection education. And whereas 2023 Fire Prevention Week theme is cooking safety starts with you. Pay attention to fire prevention. Effectively serves to remind us to stay alert and use the caution when cooking to reduce the risk of kitchen fires. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Wilmot Collins, Mayor of the City of Helena, do hereby proclaim October 8th to the 14th as Fire Prevention Week throughout this city. And I urge all the people of Helena to check their kitchen for fire hazards and use safe cooking practices during the Fire Prevention Week and every day, and to support the many public safety activities and efforts of Helena Fire and Emergency Services. In witness whereof, I hereunto set the hand and cause the seal of the City of Helena, Montana, to be affixed this 25th day of September 2023. Mayor Collins, Danae Claiborne, Clerk of the Commission, would you take delivery of this? Okay, we have another proclamation, Chain of Survivor Proclamation. Do you want to say a few words?
Absolutely. Mayor and Commission, it is my pleasure to be here today to present, to be having opening statements about this event. It occurred on June 11th, around 6:30 p.m. A lightning strike occurred at the South Hills Disc Golf Course just off Saddle Drive. This lightning strike directly impacted Wyatt Burrell and his friend Jacob Stearns, who were out for a fun round of golf. Both were impacted by the lightning strike, with Wyatt receiving the brunt of it. Jacob found himself lying on the ground near his friend, who was unresponsive and not breathing. Once Jacob was able to reorient himself, he recognized his friend needed help and began cardiopulmonary resuscitation, also known as CPR, while simultaneously yelling for help. Nearby residents Casey and Lauren Kuntz heard the screams and ran to assist. Wyatt's girlfriend called 911, while Jacob, Casey, and Lauren performed CPR until emergency crews from the Helena Fire Department and St. Peter's Ambulance arrived to provide advanced life support care. We are here today to recognize these individuals for their outstanding efforts in saving the life of Wyatt, and to additionally highlight the importance and impact of utilizing the chain of survival, and particularly the value of early CPR focused on chest compressions. This, in addition to activating the 911 system for additional emergency responders that can provide rapid defibrillation and advanced resuscitation, work together to create the best possible outcome. In this case, saving the life of a friend, a father, and a community member. At this time, I would like to introduce Jacob Stearns, Casey and Lauren Kuntz, as well as our survivor, Wyatt Burrell. Come on up. I'll hand it off to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Commissioners, any words you want? Okay.
Would you like them to come up or
Are we presenting this or are we doing a proclamation?
your call?
Okay. Where are the coons? Jacob Stern. Would you come forward, please? On behalf of the City of Helena and the City Commission, thank you. We have another member of our community alive today because of your intervention. Casey? On behalf of the City of Helena and the City Commission, we want to thank you for what you did. Your intervention saved a community member, and we appreciate you. You should know that without that fast thinking process, our member would not be here today. So thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much. Lauren? On behalf of the City of Helena and the City Commission, we want to thank you. Your intervention saved a community member. We appreciate what you've done, and we know what you will continue to do. Thank you. Let's give them a round. Wyatt, you want to say a few words?
You want to say anything? Floor is yours.
You have the floor.
I just want to say thank you guys. I mean, I want to be here without all of you guys. So thank you.
Okay. At this time, I will read a proclamation. City of Helena proclamation, whereas CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, is an emergency life-saving procedure performed when the heart stops beating. And whereas in 1 year alone, 437,000 Americans died from cardiac arrest. And whereas immediate CPR can dramatically increase the chances of survival after cardiac arrest. Whereas the chain of survival for cardiac arrest victim in the recognition of cardiac arrest activation of the emergency response system, early rapid defibrillation, advanced resuscitation by EMS and other healthcare providers, post-cardiac arrest care and recovery. And whereas during a recent lightning event, the chain of survival was utilized by bystander, fire department, EMS, hospital staff to successfully resuscitate and save the life of a lightning strike victim. And whereas the City of Helena would like to formally recognize the civilian friends and bystander of the lightning strike, victim of their extraordinary and life-saving efforts. Whereas the City of Helena would like to extend our sincere hope for the lightning strike victims' continued recovery. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Wilmot Collins, Mayor of the City of Helena, Montana, do hereby proclaim September 25th, 2023 as Chain of Survival Day. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Helena, Montana, to be affixed this 25th day of September 2023. Wilmot Collins, Mayor, Danae Claiborne, Clerk of the Commission. Chief. Let's give them another round of applause. What? Who? Okay, yeah, come on. Who can stay here again, right? Come on, guys. Let's do this. Our PA will come change the whole form.
Glad you're still with us, man.
Yeah, I hear you, I hear you. See, Jeez. You sure y'all don't need to be in front or we need to be in front? Yeah, let's come around because. All right, thank you. We'll move along on our agenda, board appointments. I'm recommending the following board appointment, Board of Adjustment. Appointment of Michael Newhouse to a first term on the Board of Adjustment as citizen member. Term will expire October 1st, 2026. Appointment of Byron Top to a first term on the Board of Adjustment as citizen member. Term will expire October 1st, 2026. Helena Regional Authority. Appointment of Troy McGee to a first term on the Helena Regional Authority, Airport Authority as city representative. Term will expire September 1st, 2026. Zoning Commission, reappointment of Nicole Anderson to the first full term on the Zoning Commission as citizen member. Term will expire October 30th, 2026. Reappointment of Alyssa Sorensen to a first full term on the Zoning Commission as citizen member. Term will expire September 30th, 2026. Commissioners, anything? Comments? Do we have any public comments? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I move the appointment of Michael Newhouse to the first term on the Board of Adjustment as a citizen member. Term will expire October 1st, 2026. I also move the appointment of Brian Top to a first term on the Board of Adjustment as a citizen member. Term will expire October 1st, 2026. The appointment of Troy McGee to a first term on the Helena Regional Airport Authority as a city representative. Term will expire September 1st, 2026. The reappointment of Nicole Anderson to a first full term on the Zoning Commission as a citizen member. Term will expire September 30th of 2026. And the reappointment of Alyssa Sorensen to a first full term on the Zoning Commission as a citizen member. Term will expire September 30th, 2026.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Logan,
Aye.
Commissioner Reed,
Aye.
Commissioner Shertliff,
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye.
The motion carries 4-0.
Thank you. Consent agenda, one motion. Approval of downtown multimodal and infrastructure plan adoption. Approval of a perpetual 20-foot wide access and utility easement across the frontage of 585, 589, and 599 West Main Street. Approval of a resolution reaffirming the Bill Roberts Golf Course Advisory Board as a City of Helena Advisory Board. And approval of City of Helena fiscal year HUD entitlement jurisdiction deferral. Any discussion, commissioners?
Mr. Mayor.
Yes. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I had a question which was answered in information we received, but I was hoping we could get Director Brink just to speak to the question I had and the answer that I received, which is I had heard that if we declined entitlement status or deferred it and stuck with the competitive process, that an entity like the city could only have one open project at a time. I have since learned that that is not true. That in fact, an entity can have more than one project at the same time. Director Brink, could you explain that just a little bit for the public so that they understand that we are able to have more than one open project if we stick with the competitive process? Thank you.
Mayor Collins, Commissioners, that is correct. through the competitive process, we are allowed to have multiple open projects, provided we get the approval and submit a request to Department of Commerce.
Any other comments from the commission? Do we have any public comments on this topic? Madam Clerk, any online?
Mr. Mayor, I have no public comment online.
I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I would move to approve the consent agenda, items A through D.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Logan,
Aye.
Commissioner Reed,
Aye.
Commissioner Shertliff,
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye.
The motion carries 4-0.
Bid award, Transportation System bid award for 6 Ward ADA ramps, TA grant project. Director Kanopke, you have the floor.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners.
Good evening.
This is for the 6-ramp ADA project funded through a TA grant that we received through the Montana Department of Transportation. When we went out for proposals and for this, we received only one team of the design build team. This was a typically projects go design bid build, with it being just ADA ramps, and try to simplify the process. We went with the design build method. Unfortunately, with the only one bidder, we didn't receive what we felt was competitive bids. So at this time, we're recommending that you reject the grant proposal, or the, excuse me, the bid proposal from the only responsible bidder that was on this project, for the simple fact that the costs were just not there, and we'd like a second chance to maybe revamp the proposal for the design build teams to maybe come in with a more competitive.
Thank you. Commissioners? Do you have any public comments? Madam Clerk, any online?
Mr. Mayor, I have no public comment online.
I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I just have one question. I'm
Please.
sorry, I should ask this earlier. Director Brink, I know it says you're on our memo. I'm sorry, Director Kanofsky, Brink's over there. Director Kanofsky, sorry. What is, it says here that it's 4 times the required tax dollar amount for an ADA ramp. What were they projecting the cost to be versus what do we normally do it for?
Mayor and Commissioners, so the proposals came in roughly 3 to 4 times what we're currently paying for the city's ADA project. Right now, depending on the ramp, it's anywhere from $4,000 to $6,000 per ramp. This one came in about $16,000.
So back to my question. Entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I would move to reject the 6th Ward ADA ramps TA grant proposal.
My second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Director Kanopke, no, now, would you just close the door?
Good call.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Logan,
Aye.
Commissioner Reed,
Aye.
Commissioner Shertliff,
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye.
The motion carries 4-0.
All right, commissioners, proposals from you. Let's say you. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On Friday, I was privileged to go on a tour of our flume system, which was given by, in the 10-mile watershed which was given by staff. It's a vital part of providing water to the city of Helena. And it was pretty cold and rainy for the most part, and we didn't get a lot of scenic views, which I understand some were able to in tours previous. And I'd been on this tour before a while back, probably a decade ago, but needless to say, I learned and relearned a lot. On this particular trip, the thing I was struck most by was the incredible future opportunity that we have in the system. It's an old system and it has served us well. And if you think back to the presentation we got from staff on sustainability and conservation, one of the things that we found out at that time was that there's significant water loss that as it flows through the flume system. So it seems like we have a huge opportunity, and this is just thinking out loud really, but a huge opportunity to upgrade it, which I think could go far to reducing or possibly eliminating that loss. And there are two things holding us back: money and historic preservation, because of the age of the system and historic preservation interests. And but one of the other things that I learned along the way as we were taking this, I think it was a 5-mile hike, was the opportunity for increased potential storage capacity, which is another probably long range potential there. But addressing these two areas, possibly we could certainly strengthen that water supply from the upper 10-mile and perhaps reduce our dependence on the water that we use for the upper Missouri. So it seems like we have some great opportunities to maybe have some serious discussions in the near future. I don't know at what point or in what context, but in any case, I'd really like to thank Ben Rigby, the water treatment superintendent, and other staff for what was a very worthwhile and wet hike. So that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other commissioners? All right, moving along. Report of the city attorney.
Mayor, Commissioners, I have nothing to report tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Report of the city manager.
Mayor and Commissioners, I have nothing to report this evening.
Communications from Helena Citizens Council, HCC Representative John E. Andrew, you have the floor.
Mayor, Commissioners, I just wanted to mention again that at our August 23rd meeting, we had a presentation by Paul Landis and Heather Graham of the Helena Regional Sports Complex, outlining the scope for this project, along with talking about a sustainability study and their wish, of course, as you know, that they want to ask for funding coming out of the remaining ARPA funds. HCC took a vote and it passed unanimously, reaffirming that our support for the feasibility study for the project. That's all I have tonight.
Thank you. And I think last week, the commission also passed that, so it should be going through. You bet. Regular items, consider Northwestern Energy incentive of $145,000 for the replacement of the City of Helena's turbine blower. Director Leland, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor, Commission. This is a great opportunity that Jeff Brown was able to find through Northwestern Energy in conjunction with John Campbell, who is Northwestern Energy's consultant, and he works for Energy Resource Management. And what John does is he goes around and looks at wastewater treatment plants, water treatment plants, and figures out ways to get efficiency to try and save energy. And then Northwestern Energy gives incentives to this. Not only is the incentive $145,000 on a $300,000 blower, but we are also going to be able to get a 40% efficiency. Wow. These blowers blow air into the water, into a bioreactor that creates an anaerobic environment for the bugs to treat the nutrients that are going in. They are 48% of all the energy for the wastewater treatment plant. Wastewater treatment plant uses about $210,000 a year. So you are going to be able to see about a $38,000 savings per year. And to put it in perspective, this is equivalent to what a solar 4.7 solar panel arrays that are at the city shop right now. So those 50K solar arrays, you'd have 4.75 of them. So it's a way that we can look at our audit that we are going to do is have better bang for our buck. Is instead of spending $150,000 per solar array, we may look at bringing up efficiencies for these blowers and other motors that we have out there that are actually going to see more of an energy savings than actually would be created by spending the same amount of money for solar arrays. So that is what our solar audit or our energy audit is going to do, is to look at a bunch of different ways. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them right now.
Thank you, Director Leland. Comments from the commission?
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, go ahead,
I'd
Commissioner.
just like to, no question, just comment, just thank you for, and you and your staff for the exploration and finding this incentive and the reiteration of your point about alternative ways of that we can be more sustainable as an organization or have better conservation efforts. And that's a good reminder from time to time for us to get. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Director Leland, thank you very much to you and your staff. I'm going to echo the same sentiments. Thanks for seeking out these incentives from Northwestern Energy. And it's just going to move us closer to our sustainability goals. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we have any public comments? Madam Clerk.
Mr. Mayor, I have no public comment online.
Thank you, Director Leland. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I'd move to accept the Northwestern Energy incentive in the amount of $145,000.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Logan,
Aye.
Commissioner Reed,
Aye.
Commissioner Shertliff,
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye.
The motion carries 4-0.
Thank you. Consider name dedication of Northwest Park softball fields. Director Smith, you have the floor. Good evening.
How's that? Okay, Mayor, Commissioners, much better. Thank you. We're here today on behalf of the Parks and Recreation Department as we were approached this past summer by family members of Coach Mike Miller to consider renaming the Northwest Park softball fields after Coach Miller. On September 20th, the last commission administration meeting, we proposed the renaming of the fields to the Mike Miller softball fields. And we are here before you tonight to ask the commission to consider the proposal for naming the fields at Northwest Park after Coach Miller.
Thank you, Director Smith. Comments or questions from the commission?
Question, Mr. Mayor.
Please go ahead.
Or does he know about this?
I believe he may have caught wind of it.
Okay.
Commissioner?
I was just curious as to whether we need to keep this on the down low.
Too late.
Okay.
It's too late, as we spoke publicly about it last Wednesday, Commissioner.
Any other comments from the commission? Do you have any public comments? Madam Clerk.
Mr. Mayor, I have no public comment online.
I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I move to approve the naming the Northwest Park softball fields after Coach Mike Miller.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Logan, Commissioner Reed,
Aye.
Commissioner Shertliff,
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye.
The motion carries 4-0.
Consider the cancellation of 2023 municipal general election for the City Commission, Municipal Court Judge, and Helena Citizens Council Neighborhood District 2 and 7. Clerk of the Commission, you have the floor.
Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, we've talked about this at a couple of meetings now. Statutorily, through section 754410, a local government has the authority, excuse me, to cancel an election for those seats that have one or less candidates file for each seat. We discussed this at the admin meeting last week, and then I believe on the 21st of August at the regular commission meeting. And I asked for a consensus from all of you to move forward with the cancellation. And what direction I received from you is you would like to see some public engagement or public outreach before you made a final decision. So I've been working with the city manager's office and the public information officer. And what I've provided for you tonight is a very rough draft, I will say that, of a landing page that we would put somewhere on the website to better inform the public should they choose to learn more per Commissioner Reed's request about what seats were available, how many candidates filed for those seats, and then direct folks to the Lewis and Clark County Elections Administration page, as they are the actual authority that handles our elections, for further information. There is one contested race, and that is for the HCC District 1. And so we would move forward with that election. Should you, as an individual election, that would be the only one on the ballot, should you choose to approve the resolution that's in your packet this evening. Further, those seats that had one candidate file for the seat, the 3 commission seats, the municipal court judge, and all of the seats within the HCC districts 2 through 7, those would be voted in by or elected by acclamation is the term. And that essentially means that there was one candidate filed for the individual seat. Those HCC seats that did not have any candidates file, it is the commission's statutory authority to appoint those. And what we would like to do is, per the resolution in your packet this evening, start accepting applications in the next few weeks for those individuals interested in serving those seats on the HCC. And what I'd ask for from the commission is further direction as to how you would like to, of course, include the HCC for recommendations in that process. And then we would move forward with those appointments. I've reached out to the HCC coordinator and asked if she could provide their current applications for the non-election year application that they take through their own individual process. And we're hoping to combine that with the city commission's board application form and make an online form to make it easier for the constituency to apply. So with that, I will answer any questions you may have and ask for approval of the resolution within your packet this evening.
Thank you, Clerk Claiborne. Commissioners, any comments, questions?
Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Madam Clerk, for your work on this. I know we've had some back and forth on it, and I appreciate this document as well. Is what we see on this page will be something similar that we'll see in the inserts for the water bill?
Thank you, Commissioner, for bringing that up. I apologize. So we have put together a document that will go out should you move to proceed with all of this in the water bills for October. And that would inform everyone that receives a paper water bill from the city, from the utility services, further information. And it's a very short form compared to what's in front of you. We tried to keep it simple so that we wouldn't confuse folks if they got too much information on a very small piece of paper. And again, redirect them to the Lewis and Clark County elections site, because they are the authority that would handle that, and they could answer any questions better than I.
Commissioner Reed.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would also like to thank the clerk's office and the clerk particularly for the work on this. I do think it is important that we highlight the opportunities to be involved in local government for the community, just in case people don't know. So I think the combination of a landing page and a water bill insert it's a good effort to make sure people are aware of the races that would have been on the ballot. Thank you.
Thanks. Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, a question in the comments. So for the city clerk, at what point, after this evening, are we able to share sort of this? I'm sure probably don't have the landing page quite ready just yet, but share that information that we've discussed tonight?
Sure. So, thank you, Commissioner, Mr. Mayor. I think obviously I would defer to City Attorney Doctor if she sees any concerns, but since this is a public meeting, if you were to adopt the resolution this evening, I see no issue with sharing that information publicly. I would reiterate, I'll continue to work with the PIO on cleaning up the rough draft that you've been provided for information. I was really hoping to just get a sense if this was the general information you all would hope for on a landing page of sorts on the website, and make sure I was heading in the right general direction. I know that the PIO also has been working on a media statement, so that would go out tomorrow and hopefully get that on the radar for the local media as well with further information. But yeah, should you adopt the resolution tonight, I believe that there shouldn't be any issue with moving forward with sharing that information publicly.
Thank you. And thank you for your work on this. The only comment I might add is that I was really looking forward to seeing what Commissioner Shirtliff would come up with for a sign. And I don't guess we're going to see that. So
Commissioner
thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Shirtliff, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Commissioner Logan. Madam Clerk, for the education of folks, what is the cost of a full election if we were to go through with a full election versus a partial election, and then the savings that we're going to have from not having a full?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioner Shirtliff. So as I stated in the memo, it is sort of a nebulous number for quite some time through the process. And there are a lot of factors that I won't even pretend to be able to go into this evening. The elections administrator is very careful with the calculations through the clerk and recorder at the county level. But their current estimate of a citywide election would be somewhere between $60,000 and $70,000 should we run a citywide election, where predominantly the seats are determined because of the lack of candidate filings. If we were to run just the HCC District 1 election, that is the only contested one, that cost they estimate will be somewhere around $30,000.
Thank you. And in my opinion, I think you're on the right track.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any other comments from the commission? Do we have any public comments?
Hello, Mayor Commission. My name is Ben Kuiper. That's Kuiper. I am the chair of the Helena Citizens Council. So the HCC doesn't have an official stance on this question. I just wanted to come up and express our interest in being involved and informed about the appointment process if you decide to go through with this. We currently have an application process, but I know that this is different because we have elected seats that won't be filled. So if you could keep us informed, I'm glad to be the representative in that. I believe you all have my email, but thank you so much.
You bet. Thank you, sir. Do we have any other public comments? Madam Clerk, do we have any online?
Mr. Mayor, I have no public comment online.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I move to approve a resolution to cancel the city's 2023 general election for the City Commission, Municipal Court Judge, and HCC Neighborhood Council Districts 2 through 7.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Logan,
Aye.
Commissioner Reed,
Aye.
Commissioner Shirtliff,
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye.
The motion carries 4-0.
Public hearings. Consider the acceptance of Edward Brines Memorial Justice Assistant Grant JAG. Chief Petty, you have the floor.
Mayor, Commission, thank you. It is simply that. Consider the acceptance of the Edward Burns Memorial Justice Assistant Grant. We've received this grant the last 22 years. We take the allocation, we split between us and the LCSO, which is Lewis and Clark Sheriff's Office. The federal government dictates the amount of money we'll get. They actually dictate what each entity will get. From there, we take the money that we get, which is roughly $30,000 this year. We use it to supplement one of our detectives, who is the county attorney liaison detective. We use that money for that in conjunction with the money that the county attorney's office pays for that detective. So I would, with the information here, recommend the commission approve this grant.
Thank you, Chief.
You
Comments
bet.
or questions from the commission? Do we have any public comments on this? I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I would move to approve the Edward Burns Memorial Justice Assistance Grant funding.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Logan,
Aye.
Commissioner Reed,
Aye.
Commissioner Shertliff,
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye.
The motion carries 4-0.
Thank you. Consider a resolution setting rates for all customers of the City of Helena water system. Director Leland, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor Commission. And this is for the resolution to set water rates for the city of Helena. We are not recommending any increases this year. We did do a rate study and they were recommending upwards of 4.75% in 23 and 24. However, with the ARPA funding and just the capacity of staff to be able to get capital projects up is we don't recommend actually increasing everything. So we will be coming forward in probably future years to be able to get some increases, but at this time we are recommending 0. And to put it in perspective, Billings for water is 10% increase. Missoula is 4%. Great Falls is 10. Bozeman is 12. Kalispell is 15. And Butte is also 0. So we are with Butte as not having an increase. So I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Thank you, Director. Comments or questions from the commission?
Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Director Leland, I thank you for the context of the other cities around the state. If we don't do the increase now, does that mean a larger increase later? And if not, can you just explain a little bit about how this decision for this year will impact further years and the proposed increases then? Thank you.
Mayor, Commission, I can't say that it won't be future increases up there because of inflation. We just don't know what inflation is going to do, but this having a 0% this year is not going to impact that we do an 8% next year or 10%. As staff, we don't feel it's kicking the can down the road because we did get that federal funding to come in and we just aren't getting all the capital projects out there. So instead of putting a huge cash balance that we already have, we are just going to hold the line and then move forward with that.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the commission? Do we have any public comments on this matter? Madam Clerk, any online?
Mr. Mayor, I have no public comment online.
I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
move to approve a resolution setting rates for all customers of the City of Helena water system.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Logan,
Aye.
Commissioner Reed,
Aye.
Commissioner Shertliff,
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye.
The motion carries 4-0.
Consider a resolution setting residential and commercial wastewater based and usage rate. Director Leland, you have the floor.
Mayor and Commission, this again is a resolution to set the wastewater rates for the City of Helena. On this one is the fund balance was a little bit lower than what water is. So it's in a little more of a need and staff is proposing to do a 4% increase with our rate study. They did have a 2% both in 23 and 24. So we are going to ask for a 4% increase. And then also to put it in perspective, Billings is doing 6%, and that would have been a total of 16. Missoula is doing 9%. Great Falls is doing 10%, Bozeman 12, and Kalispell is 15 again, and then Butte is 0. They have a little bit of federal funding in there because of all of the Superfund sites and the mining that had went on in Butte. So they're a little different when it comes to their utilities. So I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Thank you, Director Leland. Comments or questions from the commission? Do we have any public comments on this topic? I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I would move to approve a resolution setting residential and commercial wastewater base and usage rates.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Logan,
Aye.
Commissioner Reed,
Aye.
Commissioner Shertliff,
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye.
The motion carries 4-0.
Consider a resolution of intention to extend the duration of recreate the landfill monitoring and maintenance district. Dr. Leland, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. This is in a few legislatures ago, the city or the state legislature passed a law that we need to reevaluate and look at recreating or extending any of the special improvement districts that were done under a previous state law. One of them is the landfill monitoring district, which takes care of Centennial Park. That is an old landfill that does have methane that we monitor 16 methane wells that are created as the refuse decomposes. Then we have groundwater monitoring wells, 29. We treat both methane and also groundwater contamination from the old landfill. So the city of Helena has a liability that's out there, a general liability regardless if this passes or not. And previously it was paid out of the residential solid waste primarily, with a little bit in commercial, but since commercial may not have to take city services, they can go with the private services. This is the fairest way to be able to capture everyone to be able to pay for the general liability of the old landfill. We are not asking for any increase in the amount that we're going to pay. This is just to extend it, to keep it going, and we evaluate it, and it is a very good program, and we are keeping the rates low. We haven't increased them for several years. So at this time, it's just a resolution of intention to see if the commission is willing to go out for the 60-day protest period. So at this point, it's just to start the process, and I'm not playing the video and everything else in the interest of time. So I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Thank you, Director. Comments or questions from the commission?
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
just to comment, I will be opposing the recreation of this district for the same reason that I opposed recreation of the urban forest management district. And it's not because there is not value in what is accomplished by the district, but rather by how it is funded. That is, assessments are charged to each property in the city. In my previous iteration against the recreation of the urban forest management district, I cited a portion of Attorney General Opinion, Volume 46, Number 7, and I'll reference a different portion this time. Attorney General Mazurek, at the time when the city of Helena had created a district, one of the comments made was that the general public, rather than a specific property owner, benefits from these services. Clearly, the cost of these benefits cannot be calculated on the basis of square footage of a structure in this case. These services paid for by these fees are provided for the general public good and not to any specific piece of property, and therefore the levies to pay for these services must be considered a tax. And I think it's also interesting in Montana, in MCA 712-4162, which deals with special districts, where the assessments of costs of special districts is addressed. Among other things, it states that assessable area means an area of a lot or parcel of land representing the benefit conferred on the lot or parcel by the improvement. So to me, it seems like what we're doing here is taxing property owners rather than truly assessing for a benefit that a property is receiving. So my lack of support relates to the way the program is funded by a district which levies an assessment that seems to me in reality a tax. And the distinction, as I've said before, is important. Taxes are limited by state law and the city's charter. Taxes also cannot be levied against tax exempt properties, such as schools, state and federal government properties, churches, and on other nonprofits, for example. And gotta apologize. I mean, I sound like a broken record here, I'm sure, on this, but I say this because there is a tendency as we discuss future needs, which there are many. Let's take sidewalks as an example. oftentimes the solution that I hear come up is let's just create a district. And I don't think the answer is quite that easy because I think the distinction between taxation and assessment is important. So for those reasons, I can't support this resolution. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments from the commission? Do we have any public comments on this topic? Madam Clerk, any online?
Mr. Mayor, I have no public comment on.
I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I move to approve a resolution of intention for the recreation of the landfill monitoring and maintenance district and set a public hearing date of December 18th, 2023.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Logan,
Nay.
Commissioner Reed,
Aye.
Commissioner Shertliff,
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye.
The motion carries 3-1.
At this time, is there anyone from the public wishes to address the commission? Madam Clerk, do we have any online?
Mr. Mayor, I have no public comment online.
Commissioners, any final discussion? This meeting is adjourned.